Have you ever spent like hours studying for a test, maybe trying to drill a long list of new vocabulary words into your head, only to wake up the next day and feel like poof, most of it's just gone?
Oh, yeah. That feeling. It's incredibly common.
It's so frustrating, isn't it? That sense that information is just slipping through your fingers.
It really is. And, it often leads people to think, oh, I just have a bad memory. But the fascinating thing is, it's rarely about having a bad memory. It's almost always about how we're trying to learn.
The strategy, not the brain itself.
Exactly. Your brain's usually not the problem. It's more about the approach we take.
Okay, so today, get ready for maybe a fundamental shift in how you think about learning and remembering stuff. We're doing a deep dive into how to remember everything. It's this really practical guide that promises to unlock, well, the incredible power your brain actually has.
Yeah, and our mission here is to pull out the most powerful, maybe surprising, and definitely actionable ideas from this material. We want to give you strategies, backed by evidence that will make learning feel less like a chore and honestly more effective and even kind of fun.
Right. Expect some serious aha moments because this source material, it's really designed like a roadmap to memory mastery. We're going to explore the core insights together. Okay, let's dive in. First up, we need to tackle this common idea. The first big insight from our source is understanding why we forget in the first place. And get this, it's not actually a flaw, it's a natural part of how our brain works.
And what's really interesting here is the difference between short-term and long-term memory. Think of short-term memory like a small whiteboard in your mind. Information shows up for a bit,
Okay.
but it gets wiped clean pretty fast unless you actively do something to keep it there.
Right.
Long-term memory, though, that's like this huge, sprawling library. Once something is properly filed away there, it can genuinely stick around for years, maybe even your whole life.
So why doesn't everything make it from that whiteboard to the library shelf? Our source mentions two main reasons. One is decay, which is kind of like footprints in sand, just fading away if nobody walks that path again. And the other is interference.
Interference. Yeah, that's where new information sort of pushes out or messes up the old stuff.
Like confusing, say, similar English words. Affect and effect always get me.
That's a perfect example. Exactly. So that brings up the big question. How do we actually fight against that natural fading and confusion?
Yeah.
Well, the material really highlights the role of emotional impact. Think about it, then you probably remember really embarrassing moments or maybe super exciting ones way more clearly than, say, what you had for breakfast last Tuesday.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Emotion acts almost like a highlighter pen for your brain. It basically screams, hey, this is important, remember this. So if you're trying to learn something kind of dry, maybe like historical dates, try linking them to something ridiculously emotional in your own life. Like imagine a huge personal drama unfolding on that date, or a massive sports win. Make it feel intense, even absurdly so. Your brain will notice.
That's actually a brilliant way to think about it. So the source uses the term retention, which is basically how well you keep hold of information.
Right.
And it gives 3 quick tips to boost it. First, repeat to remember. Don't just read it once. Say it out loud, write it down, maybe even try explaining it to your cat or something.
Active recall.
Second, connect ideas. Link the new stuff to things you already know. Like you said, marine immediately makes you think of the ocean.
Make those connections.
And third, rest and reflect. Sleep. Apparently, that's when your brain does a lot of the heavy lifting, organizing memories.
Absolutely crucial. And, thinking bigger picture, this whole understanding just blows that old myth about only using 10% of our brain right out of the water.
Oh, yeah, that one.
It's just not true. Memory isn't stuck in one spot. It's this huge dynamic network. Your brain wants to remember things, really. You just need to learn how to work with its natural ways, not fight against them.
Okay, so from understanding why we forget, let's move to a really cool ancient technique, the memory palace. Imagine like turning your own house into this incredible mental map for storing information.
Yeah, the origin story is pretty amazing. It comes from ancient Greece. There was this poet, Simonides of Chios. Well, the story goes, he stepped outside a banquet hall for a moment, and then the whole thing collapsed.
Oh, wow. Terrible.
Truly awful. But afterwards, he was apparently able to recall exactly where every single guest had been sitting, just by mentally walking through the space. This led to what's called the method of loci. Loci is Latin for places.
So you build this mental space based on a real place you know inside out, like your home.
Exactly. Your house, your commute, your old school, anywhere you know really, really well.
And then, here's the fun part, right? You fill this mental place with really bizarre, vivid images of whatever you need to remember.
Mm-hmm. The weirder, the better.
Our source has this great example, needing to remember words like apple, guitar, dentist, elephant, success. Instead of a boring list, you imagine, I don't know, a giant shiny apple bouncing on your actual bed.
Or maybe a guitar playing a wild solo by itself in your bathtub.
Ah, yes. Or an elephant trying to squeeze into your fridge. The source says the more bizarre, the more sensory details you add, the better it sticks. Your brain just pays more attention to unusual things.
So why does this work so well? It taps into something our brains are naturally brilliant at, remembering places and stories. Think about your childhood home. You can probably still picture lots of details, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The memory palace just hijacks that natural ability. And it's not just for lists. It can seriously boost your concentration, spark creative thinking, even help with language fluency by turning abstract words into these unforgettable little scenes. Like, for irregular verbs. Like maybe a goat went to the moon wearing tiny boots in your living room.
A goat went to the moon. Okay, I won't forget that.
Exactly. Strange, but it works.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. Let's unpack a technique you probably use already, maybe without even realizing it. Chunking. Think about trying to remember a long phone number. It feels impossible, right? Until someone breaks it down into smaller groups, like area code, then the next 3 digits, then the last 4.
That's it, exactly. Chunking is just that. Strategically breaking down big chunks of information into smaller, more meaningful little groups or chunks.
Like cutting a big cake into slices.
Perfect analogy. Much easier to handle a slice than the whole cake at once. Our brains are actually wired to look for patterns and make connections, and chunking basically gives your brain a shortcut by grouping information into these neat, digestible little packets of meaning.
And it's not just for numbers or simple lists, is it? Like instead of memorizing 12 random words, dog, apple, table, doctor, whatever you group them.
Right. You'd maybe make categories. Animals, dog, cat, bird, furniture, table, chair, sofa, food, apple, bread, milk, that kind of thing.
No, okay, and this gets really interesting for language learners, doesn't it?
Oh, hugely. For learning English, for example, chunking applies to vocabulary when you learn, say, word families. Or even better, common phrases chunks like good at, or interested in, or make a mistake.
Ah, collocations.
Yeah.
Words that just sound right together.
Exactly. Learning them as a single unit makes your speech sound much more natural, and it actually helps you remember them better because they're learned in context. You can also group words by theme, like travel words, passport, luggage, boarding pass. Or even grammar rules, maybe group tenses by time, past, present, future. It helps build this clear framework, like mental shelves for organizing everything. Think about how a chess master sees patterns, not just pieces.
Or a musician learns whole phrases.
Same principle. It lets your brain handle way more information by seeing the connections, the patterns, the chunks.
So what this really means for you, the listener, is thinking strategically. Instead of just trying to absorb every new bit of information separately, you actively look for ways to group it, connect it, make it part of a bigger, more manageable picture.
Yeah, be deliberate about it.
Okay, next question. Ever feel like you totally understand something one day,
Mm-hmm.
and then a few days later, it's just gone, vanished again?
That leaky bucket feeling. Yeah.
Well, our deep dive reveals the scientific fix for that. Spaced repetition.
Ah, yes. Ebbinghaus. This brings us to a really fascinating question. Just how fast do we forget things? The source talks about Hermann Ebbinghaus and his famous forgetting curve.
The forgetting curve. What did he find?
It's pretty stark, actually. Ebbinghaus discovered that within just 24 hours, you can forget almost half of what you learned.
Half in one day. Yep.
And within a week, that can jump up to maybe 90%, unless you actively review it. The curve shows this really rapid drop-off if you don't reinforce the memory.
Wow, 90% in a week. That's a serious wake-up call.
It is, but the magic of spaced repetition is how it combats that. The idea is to review information at gradually increasing intervals. So you review it just before your brain is about to naturally let it go.
Okay, so not reviewing randomly, but at specific times.
Exactly. It's like watering a plant. You know, you don't water it constantly, you water it just when the soil starts to get dry. Each time you review like that, right on the edge of forgetting, you strengthen the memory, making it harder to forget next time.
Like patching the holes in that leaky bucket you mentioned.
Precisely. It's the total opposite of cramming. Cramming is trying to fill that leaky bucket all at once. Most of it just spills out. Spaced repetition plugs the leaks over time.
That makes so much sense.
And the great thing is you don't have to figure out the timing yourself. There are some fantastic apps out there. Anki, Quizlet, Memrise, lots of them are free that automate this whole process. They track when you need to review vocabulary, grammar, even pronunciation based on how well you remembered it last time.
Oh, that's super helpful. And the source gives a simple plan too, right? Like a starting point.
Yeah, a basic schedule could be learn it on day 1, review on day 2, then day 4, then day 7, and maybe day 15. The key phrase to remember is just. Review just before you forget. It's all about working smarter, optimizing your review time, not just studying harder for hours on end.
Working smarter, not harder. I like that. Okay, now, for something maybe a bit less obvious. Our deep dive reveals this kind of secret layer to memory, things often ignored. Your emotions, your focus, and, yes, your sleep.
These aren't just like minor tips. They're incredibly powerful, natural tools your brain uses constantly to make memories stick.
Let's start with emotions. You mentioned they act like a highlighter.
Yeah, it's a great way to put it. What's really fascinating is that when you feel an emotion, joy, surprise, maybe even mild frustration, your brain releases chemicals, things like adrenaline, dopamine.
Okay.
And these chemicals literally strengthen the connections between your brain cells, the synapses. This makes memories formed during emotional states much more robust, much easier to recall later. So if learning a new word makes you laugh or connects to something personal...
It sticks better than just a dry definition.
Way better, yeah.
And focus. The source calls concentration a flashlight, which I love.
It's a perfect metaphor, isn't it? You simply cannot remember what you don't actually pay attention to in the first place. And let's face it, in our world today, with phones buzzing and notifications popping up,
Focus is hard to come by.
it really is. It's become a vital skill. So the material suggests concrete things you can do. Study in short, focused bursts, maybe 25 minutes, then a short break. That's the Pomodoro technique. Get rid of distractions, put the phone away, close those extra browser tabs. Maybe even try practicing mindfulness for just 5 minutes a day. It really trains your attention muscle.
Okay, so emotions highlight, focus illuminates. What about sleep?
Sleep. Honestly, it's memory's absolute best friend. Your brain isn't just switching off when you sleep. It's incredibly active.
Really? Doing what?
It's processing and storing information from the day. It's like organizing files, putting things into the right folders in that long-term memory library we talked about. This whole process is called memory consolidation.
Consolidation.
And if you get poor sleep, or not enough sleep, you disrupt that whole filing process. The updates don't get saved properly. So getting good quality sleep after you've learned something new is absolutely crucial for making it stick long term.
Wow. So the big takeaway here is your brain isn't just a computer you feed data into.
Not at all.
It's alive, it needs emotional connection, it needs focused attention, and it definitely needs rest. It's really about how you live, not just how you study. Paying attention to this stuff, emotions, focus, sleep can make a huge difference.
A profound difference, actually. These are your natural memory superpowers.
Okay, let's zoom in on language learning now. Why is it that sometimes you learn a new English word and it just won't stick, no matter how many times you look it up?
A common frustration. The usual culprit is learning words in isolation. Just the word and its translation, like dog is too disconnected.
So what's the fix? The source talks about context, connection, making it personal.
Exactly. It's about building like layers of memory around that word. So if you learn a new word like enthusiastic, don't just memorize the definition. Ask yourself, okay, when have I felt enthusiastic? Or what kind of things make me feel enthusiastic? Personalize it.
Connect it to your own life.
Right. You could even try visual mapping. Write the word in the middle of a page, then draw lines out to synonyms, maybe an example sentence using it, the emotions it brings up for you, a little doodle representing a personal memory.
Like a mind map for the word.
Pretty much. Your brain loves connections, remembers networks way better than isolated facts.
And here's something this source really pushes for fluency. Learn by phrase, not just single words.
Yes. This is huge. Instead of just learning take equals whatever in your language, learn chunks like take care of or take a break or take notes. Learn them as one whole unit.
Because that's how people actually speak, right?
Exactly. It builds more natural speech patterns, and the memory is stronger because you're learning words in their natural habitat, how they actually work together. Think phrasal verbs, idioms, everyday phrases. Learn them as chunks.
Gotcha. And what about sound? The source mentions that too.
Oh, definitely. Sound is a really powerful, often underused memory tool. Don't just read English words silently. Actively listen to them, say them out loud, maybe sing along to English songs. Try imitating how native speakers pronounce things.
Get your ears and mouth involved.
Yeah, your brain loves variety. For a word like confidence, say it confidently, say it quietly, record yourself saying it, play with the sound. It creates more anchors for the memory.
Okay, and finally, the ultimate trick, according to the source.
Yeah.
Turn words into stories.
The Lincoln story method. Yes.
I mean,
this connects items you want to remember by weaving them into a really bizarre or emotional or visually striking little narrative. Remember that example list. Balloon, tiger, book, mountain, clock.
Vaguely. How did the story go?
You might imagine a giant balloon carrying a friendly tiger who is reading a book on top of a mountain when suddenly a giant clock falls out of the sky. Something totally weird like that.
Okay, that's memorable.
Or even for grammar. Instead of just rules, make a silly story. I was walking in the park when I suddenly saw a dog that was dancing the tango.
A dancing dog.
Yeah.
Got it. Past continuous, past simple, past continuous.
See, your brain is just wired for stories. It remembers narratives way better than dry lists or rules. When you weave new language into these fun, strange little stories, you stop just memorizing and start actually experiencing the words. It lights up more parts of your brain, makes it unforgettable.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, for our final really powerful insight, let's talk about what the source calls the ultimate memory multiplier, teaching others. It sounds like maybe extra work, right? Like, now I have to teach it too. But apparently, it's a huge boost for your own learning.
It really is. And what's fascinating is why it works so well. When you get ready to explain something to someone else, 3 really powerful things happen in your brain. The source calls it ROA.
ROA, what does that stand for?
R is for retrieval. You have to actively pull the information out of your own memory, which strengthens that neural pathway just by using it.
Okay, makes sense.
O is for organization. You're forced to structure the information logically so someone else can understand it. You have to sort it out in your own head first.
Right.
And A is for articulation. You have to actually speak it or write it clearly. And that process, putting it into your own words, immediately shows you where the gaps are, where your own understanding is a bit fuzzy.
That reminds me of the Feynman technique. Learn something, then try to explain it really simply like you're teaching a kid.
Exactly.
And wherever you get stuck or use jargon or it feels complicated,
Yeah.
that's what you need to go back and understand better yourself.
That's precisely the idea. So applying it to English, if you try to explain the difference between, say, present perfect and past simple to a friend, and you find yourself stumbling,
You know exactly what you need to review.
bingo! Instant feedback on your own understanding.
That's brilliant.
And stepping back, there's another cool aspect. Often, your students, whoever you're explaining it to, they teach you back. Their questions, the way they rephrase things, it can spark new connections in your mind, deepening your own grasp of it in ways you didn't expect.
So it's a two-way street.
Totally. The source even suggests like a quick 10-minute teaching routine after you study something. Just try to summarize it out loud, explain the main point without looking at your notes, maybe write down a quick example, think about sharing it, and then reflect. Okay, what part of that was actually hard for me to explain clearly?
It sounds so simple, but I can see how effective that would be. It forces you to actively process it.
It really does. Teaching transforms passive learning into active mastery. It forces your brain to engage on so many different levels. Honestly, even if you just explain it to your reflection in the mirror, or like you said, your cat.
Or a teddy bear.
Yeah. The act of articulating it, organizing it, retrieving it, that sets all these powerful cognitive gears turning. It cements the knowledge way better than just reading ever could.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot today. Some really powerful tools.
Yeah.
Understanding why we forget. That amazing memory palace technique.
Chunking information strategically.
The science behind spaced repetition. Timing those reviews just right.
And tapping into those hitting superpowers. Emotions, focus, and sleep.
Plus making language really stick with personal stories and context.
And that ultimate multiplier effect of teaching others.
It's quite a toolkit.
It really is. And the beauty is every single one of these techniques is designed to work with how your brain naturally learns, not against it. It's not about brute force memorization. It's about deeper understanding and making learning stick for the long haul.
So, as you're listening to this, what stood out most to you? Which idea sparked something? Your brain is incredibly flexible and wants to remember things. Now you've got this whole set of tools to help it do just that.
The potential is definitely there.
So the question is, which one of these surprising, fascinating techniques are you going to try first to make your own learning more effective and maybe even truly unforgettable?